Ladies and gents, welcome to the Iraq Football Podcast. I'm your host Hassan and Bilal, and with me, none other than Hashim Al-Rakabi,
My boy,
the man himself. Welcome back.
happy to be here again, man. Happy to be here again. Been a tough week for me, you know. Been traveling a lot. During the game, actually, I was in Abu Dhabi during the second Iraq game against Jordan. So there's a good community of Iraqi fans I
Yeah.
saw it with over there, which was good.
Nice. Well, I was gonna say to the fans, like, if you're wondering why this episode is this late,
Yeah, my fault.
my
I'm
man
sorry,
over
guys.
here, don't blame me.
I'm
But
sorry, guys. I'm just too irreplaceable. You couldn't do it without me,
yeah,
so I
it's
had to
true.
wait for
It
me to
is
come
true,
back.
man. It would have been just me talking to the camera, and I know you guys don't like me, so it's fine.
I got extra Joe show you.
All right, well, we got tons to dig into, man. So, Hashim, let's jump straight into things. There's tons to discuss. When we lost against Palestine, it seemed like all was doom and gloom.
Yeah,
It was very obvious, even though there wasn't formally an announcement from the FA, that Casas's reign was over. And about a month after that came the announcement, Casas is gone.
yeah.
6 weeks after that, or around 6 weeks, formally, we've now appointed Graham Arnold as Iraq's new manager. What were your thoughts on this?
Yeah, so obviously, I think not many people saw this one coming from the start, from when Casas was sacked. He wasn't even on the initial shortlist from the media was leaking.
It was people like Carlos Queiroz,
Carlos
was the name
Queiroz,
touted.
Saint Amouta for me. I think
Even some local managers, Hakim
even
Sharker,
yeah, even
God
some,
forbid.
yeah. I mean, that really worried me. That conversation that was getting reopened, but Saint Amouta for me, number one priority for the board, number one priority even for a lot of fans because he has experience in Asia, Jordanian national team recent success. It seemed like everything was pointing towards that he was going to be the manager. That fell through, which was disappointing, and I didn't really understand it, really, the details of it all. But then obviously Graham got announced, which for me was sort of just a spanner. Like it was for me like it was just completely the opposite to what Casas was. Um, Obviously, the experience he has in Australia is what people really know him for. His recent success in the World Cup, getting to the round of 16 with Australia against and losing to Argentina. Um, but in terms of style of play and philosophy and everything like that, he's completely different to what we got with the whole Casas project. So I know you've commented on it in the past, but like I know your thoughts are a bit, it's a bit of a 360 or a 180 they did.
Yeah, it's for me. I think he is a very good manager.
Yeah,
In isolation of the whole context, he's a very good manager. I think his record with Australia is fantastic. The last World Cup they reached the last 16 where they lost to Argentina, who went on to win the tournament. They also, I think he holds the longest winning streak for Australia's national team. I think it's like 11 games or something.
yeah, yeah,
That's a good accolade to have on your CV.
yeah,
So he's an experienced man. He hasn't got much experience in the Middle East, but he has been around in Asian football.
yeah,
And he did really well in recruiting alongside him an excellent backroom staff.
yeah.
So those who are not aware, he brought with him a guy called Rene Mullenstein. So those who are Manchester United fans will know who that is. He was Sir Alex Ferguson's right-hand man as assistant manager
Yeah.
during one of the most excellent
Successful
periods in Manchester United and footballing history.
Yeah.
So when I saw that name, I was like, oh, this is serious now. And that, obviously, that was very encouraging. He also brought with him as a translator Ali Abbas,
Ali Abbas, yeah.
who was the former Iraqi national team winner in 2007.
Yeah.
He was our left winger, but he went on to have an amazing career in Australia. He played for several clubs and he did really well there. He speaks obviously English with the Australian dialect. He speaks Iraqi. So that was an intelligent move. And they also brought back a guy called Salam Al-Manasir to replace Mohammed Ahmad as the kind of media coordinator. Who's a mate of mine as well. He's been previously working with NBC. Very mrattab guy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They were making all the right signals, all the right moves with the national team. But here's my issue, right? You've just spent, what was it, 3 years with Casas talking about how you want to follow the Spanish format of football. You've brought La Liga to come in and work with your league. You want to turn this whole Iraqi superstar league into, let's say, a smaller mini version of
La Liga.
La Liga.
Yeah, yeah.
We've spent money, we've spent time and effort into this investment. Why have we now suddenly just backtracked completely and just ignored all of that? And now we've gone and done a 180,
180,
and done something very, very different. For me, it's either you believe in the project, right? In which case, fine, Casas is not working out, bring somebody else that aligns with those ethos.
Yeah.
Bring another manager and bring somebody else from Spain or from Latin America or whatever. Why have we just abandoned all that? But that's my first issue. My other issue is, as you referred to earlier, as you mentioned, he was not touted at the start.
Yeah.
It was several other managers who were on this shortlist. My question to the Iraqi FA is, what the hell are you lot doing? Like, we had a disastrous Arab Cup. Why did you not before then have already made contact with several managers, asking them, guys, listen, if Casas leaves, would you be interested in taking over? What are your demands for this? Would you be prepared to come live in Iraq? What would your salary expectations be? A competent FA would have already had made contact with several managers, found out from those conversations who's going to be target 1, 2, and 3 as realistic targets. Not you sack Casas and then, okay, let's figure something out.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or it shouldn't work like that if you're competent. Now, I don't know who's responsible for that. You might say Adnan Darjal. Ultimately, this falls on his head, but the Iraqi FA, the way it's structured, is all over the place. So you don't actually know.
Blame is spread.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, I love Adnan Darjal, so I don't want to
Yeah.
lambast the guy.
No, and I think they've done a lot of good work. But as you're saying, I think, for me, the sensation I got was that there was a bit of blind faith in Casas. It was almost like they didn't even want to think of a possible scenario that didn't involve him being the manager of this national team, because the early success he had in the early phases, and the fact that this project has been built up with him being the face of it. They just were so 100% in this project that they just didn't really evaluate the atmosphere around that.
When you talk about atmosphere, it's interesting because I didn't say this at the time, but it was becoming increasingly evident from my conversation with all the players that Casas was or has lost the changing room. Like, the players were not looking forward to going on international duty. A lot of it stems from not being selected or not knowing what to expect. Bad results obviously contributes towards this big time.
Yeah.
But the good news is that that's changed big time.
Yeah.
Now, the one thing I would say to support the FA's decision to bring in Graham Arnold is that, yes, his tactics are going to vastly differ from Casas and that kind of Spanish style of football. But I kind of feel like we needed that.
I agree.
I felt like we needed to go back to basics and just play to the players' strengths. And I think Graham Arnold does that. And the players certainly think so as well. The players are in a much better vibe, much better mood. They're happy. And that was reflected in the 2 performances that we saw. So let's jump into those performances.
Yeah.
The first game was against South Korea in Basra. Again, it was a weird game because I felt for the first 20 minutes, we actually looked very, very good. We didn't create much, but the team looked composed. They looked confident on the ball. We were pressing smartly. We looked tactically structured, very good shape at all times. At no point, my biggest fear during that game was that the midfield will get exposed and then it's just going to become like a basketball game.
Yeah.
That's always my fear with Iraq.
Yeah.
like we saw, for example, in the Asian Cup against Jordan.
Yeah.
I was worried that's going to happen. No, the midfield looked solid, man.
Yeah.
And that was very promising. But then, obviously, the Ali Al-Hamadi's red card changes a lot.
Yeah.
Do you think it was a red card?
For me, it was a red card.
Why?
For me, it was a red card because I feel like even though, let's say, he didn't follow through, his foot. For me, firstly, apart from the debate that was it a red card or not. Firstly, just the decision to do that in the middle of the pitch, for me, is just very. It's just a silly challenge to
Naive,
make.
I think so.
Very, yeah, naive, unnecessary.
Yeah.
It's just, in the middle of the pitch, it's a 50-50 ball. There's no threat to your goal. There's no, you're not exposed in any way. You just don't need to do that. Like early in the game, like at this phase, you're not losing. It's a level game. Don't do anything unnecessary. And for me, that was just, foot that high. Obviously, the player's head was coming in. He didn't obviously follow through. So obviously it wasn't, that's why there was a bit of a debate because he didn't really make strong contact with the guy's head. But it's dangerous play. It's a red card. For me, it's a red card.
It's harsh. Look, the thing is with Ali, because he doesn't start many games, I understand why he put his foot in, he's trying to prove himself. Even those first 20 minutes, he looked really good, man. He was coming deep, connecting play really well.
Very good.
He looked sharp. He looked like a proper seasoned international.
Yeah.
But again, I felt because he's trying to prove himself, because he wants to show the manager and the new manager, the fans, that he should be starting over Amman, there was no way he's not going to challenge for that.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes just a little bit unlucky.
For me,
is
as
it
well,
a red card? I'll be real with you. If that happened against us and it wasn't a red card, I'd be devastated.
Yeah.
I would say that much. So I understand the referee's decisions, but yeah, it's one of them ones where it happens.
No, I'm upset for him as well. He was distraught. He knew the error he made. By his body, his reactions after he made it and everything. Like, I'm upset for him because, as you said, like you know how much this means to him. You know how much he's fighting for this space. Is spotting the team to be starting. It's his first game under the new manager. He wants to make a point. Wants to prove himself.
Yeah.
So you understand the mental side, which is people don't really consider a lot of the time within football. Mentally, sometimes there's a lot of other factors that are influencing your game, and in that phase, you really can just really tell this is a player that's really trying to prove a point, and he's fighting for everything. So sometimes you make unnecessary things during the game like that challenge. But
so we're down to 10 men after what? 20 minutes, 21 minutes.
Yeah.
And then what did you make of the performance overall, his substitutions?
For me, I think at that point, I kind of just thought, it's done. The max, obviously, the only way we're going to get something out of this if we just completely sit back, somehow, keep them out for whatever, 70 minutes left of the game, keep that shape, keep that structure, which we kind of maintained in the first 20 minutes or so. But I always knew, individually, the quality they have and the combinations, passages of play, they were going to break us down at one point. I think you mentioned it during the game because when we were watching the game together, you were like, every single action they make, the Korean players, is calculated and is it
serves a purpose.
It serves a purpose, exactly. Every pass, every movement, exactly. They don't tire themselves out unnecessarily. They don't press unnecessarily. All their combinations have an objective at the end to break them down. They're like 5 steps ahead of the team in front of them. So as soon as the first one in, that was the game.
But how do we get to that point? How do we get to the point where Iraq play with that much class? What do we need to do?
I think.
I felt. Sorry to cut you off.
No worries.
I feel like a lot of the time when we play, a lot of it is just us trying to figure it out during the passage of play.
Yeah.
But you watch Korea, it's not like that, man. It's purposeful. It's effective. It's efficient.
Yeah.
How does Iraq become like this?
Firstly, I think one of the biggest things is obviously chemistry and consistency of playing with the same sort of players so that they all understand each other. That's one thing. Another thing is obviously the coaching style. You know, like if you're getting drilled on sort of triangles in phases in training where, you know, you're moving together in threes and you're playing one touch passes, bro. Like even the other day I was watching El Hilal against Real Madrid, and they were creating triangles across the whole pitch.
Well.
I know. I was like, this is like prime, you know, Barca tiki-taka play. So it's not impossible for a team to be playing that sort of. It just needs to be drilled in players. And with international football, don't get me wrong, it's very hard. It's very, because you only have 2 weeks every whatever how many months.
Yeah, you can't sign players. It's obviously
exactly, and especially, you know, the Iraqi league, the big emphasis on direct play, physical play. It's very hard to then bring in players and say, you know what, I need you to be playing with structural passes. And or like you look at the wide players we have, the first thing they think about is running down the line or trying to whip in a ball. Like there's no awareness of sort of I'm gonna make this pass, I'm gonna make this run in behind. Like this stuff comes down to IQ, it comes down to coaching, and it comes down, like I said, to sort of chemistry within the team. I just feel like we as Iraqi fans can't really be looking at that and think we need to replicate that. We're just not gonna to have a successful period ourselves. It's not gonna be in this way. It's gonna be direct play with getting, you know, being more physical than the opposition that way, and that can be successful as well.
But this goes back to my point earlier about why I think Graham Arnold was a good appointment. Because he is going to do that. He is going to take you back to basics. He is going to utilize the directness of our play in a way that is suitable for our skill sets. Well, we ended up losing that game. We had a couple of chances here and there. We had that Markhas had a very good run. We didn't look catastrophic though. We didn't fall apart.
Yeah.
It finished what, 2-0, right? Or was it 3? I think it was 2.
Was it? No, I think was it 3?
No, I don't think it was 3. It nearly was 3.
Yeah.
But well, we can check.
No, it was 2-0 actually.
It was 2,
it
wasn't it?
It was 2-0.
Yeah.
It was 2-0. Yeah.
It was 2, but yeah, I think that was a fair result.
Yeah.
I think that was a fair result.
Yeah.
And then, like, the vibe from the fans was at an all-time low. Like Ali Al-Hamadi was getting rinsed, the FA getting rinsed.
Yeah, it was complete
everyone
turmoil.
Just,
calamity.
But then I'm speaking to the players, and actually players are, you know what, like it's a one-off. You can't do much about the red card, and it's true. So we go into the Jordan game. Players are actually looking forward to it. They're pumped up. Aymar Shar makes his debut. Long time I've been waiting for this player to come and play for Iraq.
Yeah.
He's a good mate of mine.
I saw the video you posted
of
going to his game back in when was that? Like 2021 or something like that? Earlier.
People don't understand how long I scout these players.
Yeah.
I keep tabs on them for years, man.
They need to hire you, man.
Like
scout.
Little propaganda. Wallah. Like, bro, like to bring a player from a different league and convince him to play for Iraq, this is hard, man.
Very hard.
You need to really sell the project of Iraqi football to get them to understand what they're getting themselves into. It's not like, so, yo, bro, here's some money, come play for Qatar or whatever. No, you're doing it based on passion and love for your country. So, like Aymar, bro, I've been in contact with Aymar for about maybe 5 years now. I went to see him in Holland about 3 years ago in person.
Yeah.
He's an amazing guy.
Yeah.
And from then, it was clear he had the ambitions to play for Iraq. But there was just something missing that convinced him. Alhamdulillah, he came to the point where he made that decision.
Yep.
He had a phenomenal game. He looked
really
good. Yeah, man. But Khatir, I think the Iraq curse. Kevin Yaqub makes his debut, gets injured within 18 minutes. Now, Aymar Shar makes his debut, looks phenomenal.
Yeah.
He picks up a knee injury as well within his first match. But the good news is that he should be back in time for October. So inshallah, like we're talking about, hopefully, you know, a midfield of Zidane, Aymar Shar, and who would you have as a 6 there? Maybe Baish or Osama Rashid or Amir.
Osama or Amir for me. Mohamed Al-Tati is good as well, yeah. But for me, I think he likes Osama or Amir. I think one of them is a 6.
Yeah. But my point is,
we have
midfield,
options.
Midfield, Aymar and Zidane, that's quality.
Yeah.
That's a very, very good midfield.
Yeah.
And we beat Jordan Would I say comfortably?
It was a
We
pretty...
didn't look in danger, to be fair.
No, that's what I'm saying. The only two chances, to be fair, I remember was one early in the second half,
Yeah.
where they had a ball whipped in and they kind of, I think the striker Al-Alwan sort of miskicked it, and they had a one header towards the end of the game. But other than that,
But what do you make of that performance? Like, does it count, essentially, given that Jordan were already through? Besides one player, their striker, that was
basically their first starting 11, yeah.
It's weird because, like, you're only as good as the team you're playing against.
Yeah.
You can only beat that team.
Yeah.
And we did that. So we can't take that credit away from the Iraqi players and the Iraqi manager. But can you make the argument that they weren't pressing with the same intensity? They weren't fighting as much as they would have done had that game meant something towards their qualification and ours? Maybe, but you have to give credit where it's due in football.
Yeah, maybe to an extent, but let's be real as well. I think obviously the stakes aren't as high, but this game is still a game that's quite heated. Like both teams do definitely want to win this game.
Jordan playing on their
On
home turf.
The atmosphere was quite intense. Like there was a lot, like the Jordanian fans were definitely up. It wasn't like, usually in the last game of the group, if your team is through, fans were a bit more relaxed. No, but it was a hostile atmosphere. Like they were up
as
for
you
it.
would expect between Jordan.
Exactly, as you would expect. So I feel like, no, I wouldn't say it sort of doesn't count for anything because it was a meaningless game for them. No, I think they, as you said, they had basically their full 11 out. Yeah, maybe in the last few minutes they might have pressed a bit more. They might have been a bit more physical if the game meant a bit more for them. But it was clearly a very well contested game. I think first half we had some very good chances, a few amen headers that were very good, and I feel like, as we said, we carried on from that first 20 minutes that we saw in the game against South Korea. We looked very structured. We looked like we had a style of play which was movement in the box, get it to wide areas, get balls into the box, direct play. There was a few chances where Ayman was holding the ball up well, playing players in and stuff like that. So there was the style of play was very apparent, and I think it worked well.
Yeah. What do you think of these stats? So in round 3, these last qualifiers, Iraq played 10 games. We won only 4. We won 4. That would have been what? Jordan, Oman, and Palestine. Yeah. Drew 3, Kuwait twice, and then Jordan once. And then 3 losses, 2 to Korea, 1 to Jordan. So scored 9, conceded 9, points total 15. Jordan qualifies on 16 points, so 1 point more than us, but they have a goal difference of +8. They scored 16 goals and only conceded 8. Do you think we did enough to qualify?
No. I think, especially when we look at the performances themselves, those stats, I think they don't lie, but also I think that if you just look at the performances, we've been lackluster this whole qualifying campaign.
Would you say there are any games where we looked good?
I think the South Korea game away,
the 3-2,
that was in that, especially that early period of qualifying. I think that was actually one of our best performances. But it was those games against the sort of the minnow teams of the group, the Omans, the Palestines, and
Oman we beat twice.
We beat twice, but it just wasn't convincing.
Yeah.
And it's obviously, as we said,
Oman's not a bad team.
They're not a bad team. They're structured and whatever, but. Look at Jordan. Like, obviously, I don't want to compare because they play a different style of football as well. But they beat teams convincingly.
Yeah,
like, there's a performance.
Teams.
There's exactly that. Like, as you said, we're only 1 point off them, but they just look so much more convincing than us in this entire qualifying campaign. Like, if you just look at the performances, they should be like 5-6 points ahead of us because purely on performances alone. But that's what I'm saying. Like. Let's be real as well. Like the 3 games we've lost are against teams that we could be losing. Like Korea, we're realistically never gonna aspire to win in those games. Jordan as well, like tough games. But the Kuwait one really hurt. The one with the red card, because that one I feel like we definitely would have won if we had 11 men on the pitch.
And there wasn't a red card. I don't give a shit when it was.
For me, it wasn't a red card either. I think he was going wide and whatever. We spoke about that before. Yeah. And I feel like that game, if we had won that, it would have been a completely different qualifying campaign.
Yeah, agreed. So. But that's football, man.
Yeah.
That's football. Like every team would have faced similar kind of decisions that they disagree with.
Yeah.
It's up to you as a team to kind of put that to work around that and still maintain qualification.
Yeah.
But we didn't do that.
Yeah.
So now we go through to round 4,
Mm.
and just to kind of keep the listeners informed on how this is going to work.
Yeah.
So there's going to be 6 teams have qualified, okay? So the teams are Iraq, Oman from our group, and then you have Indonesia, and you have Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE. So these are the 6 teams that have qualified for the next stage. So these teams are going to be split up into 2 separate groups, and then they'll play 2 games each in different countries. So the games will be held, one group will play theirs in Saudi, the other one will play theirs in Qatar. And I'm not sure, so I've tried doing research, I couldn't find anything about this. I don't know if Saudi will be allowed to play their game in Saudi.
Yeah, I don't know actually.
I think they might be, by the way. So they might even benefit from home advantage, them and Qatar. But anyway, that's likely to be the situation. Iraq, well, let's say, hypothetically, who would you want in your group? Because I think the way the seeds are going to be, it's Saudi, Qatar, Iraq, UAE, Indonesia, Oman.
Yeah.
So out of Saudi and Qatar, who would you play?
Out of Saudi and Qatar, probably Qatar.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I feel like Saudi, the individual quality they have, even though they've not been as both of them have been underwhelming in the qualifying campaign, but I feel like the individual quality they have, and especially the last Arab Cup when we saw what they did to us, I would rather play Qatar. I know obviously they have a new manager as well in Lopetegui at Qatar, but I feel like with Qatar there's more weaknesses that we as a matchup can exploit.
It's interesting because I'd much rather face Saudi.
Really?
I think Qatar maybe individually might not be as good, but they have certainly the experience and know how to win games like this when a push comes to shove. Where I think Saudi are a bit more naive, lacking in experience. I think we can definitely exploit that, make them make mistakes. And I think the Arab Cup is not a very good example, to be honest with you, because that game where we played them, we were in horrific circumstances.
Yeah,
so
of course.
Still give them a run for their money.
Yeah.
For at least the first half.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I think both are tough games.
Yeah. I mean, they're the toughest games.
I'd prefer Saudi. And then I don't think we can face the UAE because we're in the same pot as them, or likely to be in the same pot based on FIFA rankings.
Yeah.
Which gives us either Indonesia or Oman. Who would you rather?
I mean, we've had experience now playing Oman, and I think, like we had favourable games. So I think Indonesia are a very good team. I think Indonesia can actually, they've got a lot of individual quality, and especially seeing their last game, I forgot who was against in the group. They played at home and they looked very strong. I think it was Bahrain, if I'm not mistaken. But I'm not. But yeah, they look very good going forward. So I feel like, for me, I think I would rather play Oman since we've had experience as well in the group.
It's better the devil you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I'd much rather play Oman. We know what to expect. We've beaten them twice. You'd expect us, at least mathematically, to beat them a third time.
Yeah.
Indonesia, tough team. I think we can beat them.
Yeah.
But in terms of probability, I'd rather play in a group with Saudi and Oman, and I think we can top that group.
Are you only saying that because you've got Indonesian followers and you've got people that follow
you? Do you know what, bro? If it was about that, I would much
He doesn't want to upset you guys, that's why.
I'd rather play Indonesia, bro. That's where the interactions come from. But I want to qualify for the World Cup.
Yeah.
I think we can qualify for the World Cup. The players are in a very, very good mental space right now, which is very, very different to previously. The players really do feel like we can beat anyone. They're very, very happy with this new manager. My interactions with all the players, they've made it very clear they like this new manager. They think he's very good at not just man management, but coaching as well. Tactically, what he's doing is working. It's fitting into the ethos and the beliefs of the players. So we're on the right track. The group is going to be out on what, the 20th of July?
July, yeah.
Yeah. So we have about a month, and then we're going to find out where we're going to be playing and who we're going to be playing.
Yep.
So I think from now until then, main things we need to see realistically, hopefully Alex makes some first team appearances for QPR.
Yeah, pre-season now
gets
as well,
along,
we'll have
yeah.
a chance.
Other things I want to see, Zidane come back from injury looking good.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Yaqub coming back from injury. I'm telling you guys, expect big things of Kevin.
Yeah, yeah.
Had a long chat with him yesterday on the phone. And we just talked about how he's feeling, how he's ready. Expect this guy to come back 100%.
Yeah, yeah.
And then hopefully Aymar as well to come back fresh.
One player who I'm liking as well, I'm following quite a bit, especially since their season's still ongoing, is Marco.
Marco Fudge's had a very good season.
He's had a very good season.
I don't know. To be fair, against Jordan, he did all right.
He was all right. He was all right.
He assisted the first goal.
Exactly. I think you know. I don't know.
Not against Jordan.
Did.
Against South Korea, he nearly set a goal up.
Yeah, yeah. I think he's a good.
Sorry, I'm waffling. It was against Jordan early on.
This last game.
Yeah. Bro, right in the first, I think 10 minutes into it.
Oh, yeah, the cross.
He did a few good crosses.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I feel like he's a good option to have. He's a bit of a dynamic winger, and I've seen a lot of him in the Norwegian league, and he's 21. I think there's potentially going to be interest in him to make a move at some stage. But yeah, I feel like we've got some players as well that, you know, as you said, like, it's good to follow them.
This World Cup campaign is just come at the worst time. If it came a year down the line, I really think we would have qualified for the World Cup directly.
Yeah.
A lot of the other squads would have aged, but our team consists of many young players who just lack game time and experience. Like, for example, a lot of this recent period, Ali Al-Hamadi wasn't starting, Zidane wasn't starting, Alex not quite there. Ali Jassim not playing for his club.
Yeah.
It's just the timing wasn't right.
Yeah.
But give a lot of these players another season or two, get another year's worth of experience, hopefully settled at their new clubs, starting. Hussein Ali's another one.
Yeah.
Kevin injured. I think the timing really just screwed us over.
Yeah.
So the hope is there. Inshallah, a lot of these players will come back stronger. We have July, August, September, and a little bit of October.
Yeah.
We have 3 months and a bit to hopefully get things in order. It looks like we're going to be playing in the Thai Cup that we played in last time.
Okay.
In September. So we might play 2 or 3 games there. More time for Graham Arnold to test new players, come up with different strategies, etc. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Although the quality last time wasn't amazing. We played in like rubbish stadiums and who was it? We played India and Thailand.
I think it was Thailand.
It was a third team, right? No?
Yeah, that played in the other. We didn't play them though, but I think they played.
Did we just play Thailand?
I think we played Thailand and India. Yeah.
Well, bro, all I remember from that tournament is rain and just getting mad abuse from Indian fans. It was hilarious, bro. I've never.
That was heated, bro. I was seeing like it was like on
That's when Zidane got.
He got in his fight. Yeah.
Joke, man.
Yeah, that was.
He got sent off actually.
Yeah, he got red because he elbowed him.
Yeah.
Understandable.
Justifying.
He had that held in the whole time.
That was funny.
He's funny.
You don't expect it because if you chill with Zidane, the guy is really relaxed.
Yeah.
But then
when he loses
anger moments, like creasing, bro. Allah, when I saw that elbow. To be fair, if you want to do that, don't do that in the World Cup game. Do it in that.
Yeah. Doing that, get it out before that. Yeah. Exactly.
But bro, the abuse I took online after that game was mad.
You're vocal, man. Like
I actually this time I didn't.
You ruffle feathers, bro. That's why it happens as well. It's funny how he's the only Iraqi page that gets it. Nobody else.
I think you might bother something. Yeah. Well, it is what it is, man. Anything else you want to chat to the fans?
No, but I think honestly, this is like a whole new phase now. Like for this, like because it's just a new group. You played 2 games now. All the everything that's happened before, we forget about it. Anyway, the managers only had 2 games. Realistically, the Casas era is done. Everything that was in that initial period of qualifying, it's gone. New beginnings. As we said, there's a lot of players coming back. We have to have new hope towards these games. Like, yeah, the hope was dying towards the end of this qualifying campaign because it looked like it was dire. But this one, it's a new. Everyone's on 0 points. We've got 2 games to play. Neutral venue.
I think we can beat every team there is.
Yeah.
This is not to say we will, but we can beat.
We have a chance. Yeah, it's not like
we can beat
it's
Saudi. We can beat Oman. We can beat Indonesia. And even if we had to play UAE, for example, I think we can beat them.
Yeah.
It's definitely doable, guys.
I agree.
Yeah. So let's see. Inshallah.
Have some hope, guys. Inshallah.
We'll try to make. I don't know. I'm flying out on the 18th, so it might be tough to record a podcast for the 21st once the group is announced.
Yeah. Reaction.
I'll post obviously some content on social media, guys. It might not be a full podcast, but when I'm back from my travels, I'm going to be away for quite some time, inshallah. We'll definitely make some content. We'll post the podcast for you guys, and we'll just reflect on the group, what's happened, and then we'll look forward to also the international window in September. So, guys, just please give us some likes on social media, subscribe to us on YouTube, on the if you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcast, subscribe and share this content with your friends and families. We need you guys to help us grow this page. We love Iraqi football. We know you guys do too. The only way we're going to grow this is together, using your help. So Hashim, if they want to reach you, where can they find you?
They find me on Insta, Hashim_Rikabi. Obviously, if there's any business stuff, LinkedIn as well. So moving about, agency worlds doesn't stop. So big summer transfer window, hopefully. We tried the link between the two, but inshallah, man. But yeah, it's always a pleasure coming on, bro.
It would be a pleasure. Guys, at Iraq Football Pod, listen, you know how to reach me. We want questions from you guys. We want likes from you guys, sharing from you guys. I hope you guys like this new podcast. Sorry it took a bit longer than expected, but as always, we do try to build the bridge between Iraqi football and the diaspora living abroad. I know it's hard for a lot of people to kind of engage with the Arabic content, so this podcast is specifically and specially for you guys. So I hope you enjoy it.
The camera quality will be better next time as well.
It will be. We had some technical issue. I don't want to point it out in case nobody knows.
This is take 100.
I'm going to cut this down. Guys, take it.